Good afternoon, everybody. This is Howard Nema and my co-host, VInny Bdatruth, and you are listening to We Are Change. And unfortunately, there are more homeless men and homeless women. And I think Vinny's got a report, actually, on homeless people can expect to die 30 years earlier than the average person. Isn't that true?
Yeah, that's what the study shows. I think we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
I gotta read a little more with that.
Excellent.
But one of the things I was real interested in was body found on Queen Elizabeth II's Sandringham, how would you say that? Sandringham estate. Police treat case as murder. You know, we were talking about, I mean, over the holidays when I was hanging out with my uncle, we were talking about, you know, December 21st and these, like, pagan ritual days. And I was wondering, you know, a joke about, oh, someone's probably getting sacrificed tonight, we would joke about.
Right.
Well, here it is, like, right after New Year's, you know, they're finding this body. I'm wondering if, you know, they were talking about, I didn't know that her husband, the Queen's husband, had a heart attack, I guess, 2 days before Christmas. So I wonder if they were sacrificing someone to
help
to
Prince Philip, the eugenist Nazi.
The 90-year-old keep going on.
He just want to keep that ticker keep going. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, of course, speculation, but they do these crazy things, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I know it's hard for a lot of folks to believe that ritualistic murder and satanic rituals and satanic sexual abuse is an activity of the elite.
Yeah. They feel like they get power from it.
Literally, especially baby's blood.
Mm-hmm. And torture and all these things. I mean, a lot of that I studied it with the Aleister Crowley stuff about. They feel like the torture and pain that they inflict on this person is almost like they end up becoming like God in this person's, like, even after they die. It's really crazy. I'd have to.
They take their power, their life force. They,
yeah.
Sort of like in the movies when they depict that movie Life Force, where it would suck the life force out of you. I don't know if people remember that from 30 years ago, 25 years ago. There was a movie called Life Force, which was exactly that. It was like this is like sort of succubus or demon. Literally sucks the life force out of people.
And that's what these people are. To me, I mean, openly, we know that they're Luciferians and Satanists, and this is what they're into, and it's just a body laying on her property. It wasn't even like buried that they found. It's just someone walking the dog sees a body just laying there.
But then again, also, just to just to put the specter on it, that it is a public access area, so it's not like a lot of people might be thinking it's our state is private, but it's like a sprawling. I think it's something like
it's
20, yeah, it's like 20,000 acres or something like that. I don't know. So yeah, parts of it are absolutely
31 square miles.
31 square miles.
Manhattan's 23 square miles.
So it's a little bit bigger than Manhattan. But again, you know, they do this, and you know, there's a lot of shocking things that are happening that we hear about every day. So you really, it does make you sort of wonder.
It was just that stood out to me the minute I heard that. I wanted to mention that. I was glad you had some information.
Yeah, we got quite a bit of news to go over today, ladies and gentlemen. Quite a bit of stuff, and a pretty big announcement. Actually, We Are Change Connecticut is going to be purchasing Informed Radio.
Yeah.
Members of the certain members of the organization. We are going to be not changing anything. We're just going to be taking over ownership. This isn't going to be the type of a thing the globalists do when they take over corporations. Consolidate and change everything. In typical corporate development, if your company is acquired by another company, God help you, you're probably going to lose your job. Anyway, no, that's not going to happen here. We're moving forward. There'll be a lot of things coming down the pike. We must be the change we wish to see in the world. So this opportunity was one that we could not pass up. And We Are Change will be expanding our efforts both on radio and in video, and here live stream, television, internet TV, and it's just the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. We got to wake these people up. I know a lot of people that are listening here. I know I try to promote this to folks that are like skeptics. So I mean, maybe Vinny's starting the show off talking about the fact that the Queen of England is Luciferian. If you're not in the know, it sounds a little crazy, and you know, we gotta hold back a little bit there, man, you know, just so we can understand that it is true. There's a lot of stuff that people just don't know, aren't aware of. So you have to be aware that there's a tremendous amount of deception. I don't have to tell you that. You just have to listen to our president, who has done nothing but lie since he became president. It's just, and everyone just believes it, or he gets away with it, and nobody, right?
Yeah, and the big thing right now is the whole thing with Iran, which we got to spend time talking about.
We're going to spend quite a bit of time on Iran. We're going to be covering some 34 shocking facts about the U.S. debt that should set America on fire with anger, and we'll be going over that. We're going to be going over the NDAA again, more into the indefinite detention of Americans under Obama said, once again, another lie, I'm going to veto this legislation, and of course he passed it. Now, I spoke to a lot of folks, especially a friend, Shelley, who knows who I'm speaking of, if she happens to be listening. And I said to you, Shelley, what did I say to you? I said, see what he said? He's not going to veto this. And maybe then when you start seeing this, you'll understand. And she shook her head and said, oh, maybe. So I hope that this is given a little more resonance. I mean, it's funny, a lot of friends, and I was struggling with a lot of people in the community here, in the truth community today, getting everything prepared for this the show, and also these changes that are going to be coming down the pipe with Inform Radio. And people are just, you have to understand that this is, some of us want to bang you over the head with a hammer to wake you up. Some of us, want to subtly wake you up. Some of us, want to, are like me. I'm just like passionate about this because it is so important, and I'm obviously very, very animated and very, passionate is probably the right word to use. There's all different types of people, all different types of personalities out here, but the information is what's important, not necessarily how you get it. So by VInny taking the hammer and slamming you over the head with the Saxe Cobra Gotha family, let's talk about them for a little bit, so that if anybody is a little unknown or don't understand how this this satanic element worked its way in there, since we're on it,
well, to talk about, I guess, the bloodline, it was interesting. I was actually this morning looking at videos on YouTube. Again, I mentioned before about how a lot of rappers seem to be talking about the New World Order and everything. And I seen the rapper Prodigy talking about, someone was asking about Obama, and he said, Obama is part of the bloodline. So here it is, even a rapper talking about, to be president, you got to be part of this bloodline, which goes back to, of course, like the Queen, and goes back further than that, but that's for another show. But the Illuminati bloodline is, they're the ones on top of everything. When people talk about, like, how could they keep this controlled or keep information controlled, and you'll think of, let's say, a news place where you would think that there's real journalists going out there, and they wouldn't hide things. They would want to get stories out. Well, that might be the way it starts off, but then there's always the people in the positions of power, like the executives or whoever who gets the final say, and those are the people that guide everything. So it literally could be just one or a few people that control a lot of people, and always that person that's in control is usually part of this bloodline. The higher the position, I mean, it's bloodline. Lower is just people that work their way up, maybe through secret societies, improving.
Exactly. People like Clinton, who was a Rhodes Scholar and worked his way up and cut his teeth in that aspect. And of course our president, who did his internship at the Council on Foreign Relations, the Rockefeller controlled Council on Foreign Relations. Now, talking about these bloodlines, it's true. Now, the satanic element of it is that what they're doing, the light, it's the Luciferian Masonic element of there's God is, even the founding fathers, unfortunately, it's very confusing to their intentions, what their actual intentions really were. The documents that they did actually gave the freedom to the world that had never been seen before, and is the greatest document that is ever, the Constitution is the greatest document that has ever been written. However, the background of it, of the people that wrote it, is really very, very sort of lurid and occult. It's hidden, The God that they're referring to is Lucifer. It's not. They're not referring to Jesus or God or Adonai or Allah or any of these other religious
their God
explanations
is that
of God.
eye on top of that pyramid,
Right,
which symbolizes Lucifer to them.
the Eye of Horus. That's right.
To the Egyptians, he was Horus.
Right, and Molech is who they worship. So the idea of going to the Bohemian Grove, Baphomet.
That's the whole goat head,
right?
Pentagram.
They do. Movies allude to it, like the Jack the Ripper movie From Hell goes pretty well into the Masonic order and the fact that, of course, one of them is Jack the Ripper, the doctor in the movie. But it shows these rituals and their understanding of it, and he was executing literal rituals that were written in their texts. So he to justify his actions, to kill the Jews, the Jubellos, the 3 Jews. You see, if you look in the Masonic conspiracy, the whole, if you want to call it a conspiracy, or the organization, it does go back down to the Jews that were killed. They were murdered. Okay, Hiram, what was his name? Hiram Abiff was murdered, and this is the whole background of that order. And today, they still, I mean, the highest people in Masonic orders are in the royal family. Okay, you have to understand this continues. So it's not a far-fetched notion. There have been many occult killings. Jack the Ripper murders themselves.
Yeah, that was definitely Masonic.
Certainly, absolutely. They wrote Jubellos to kill the Jews, and they didn't mean the Jews as in the Jews of Canaan. Okay,
Masonic apron.
Because at the time there was no Israel.
Also, it was a Masonic ritual murder, like all the things he did. The thing that I found out with that, I'm not 100% sure, but it was pretty good. I would bet that this is true, that the woman that he killed, they make it like it was a prostitute. She actually was having the baby of the prince or something like that.
Yeah, Prince Albert. Well, the whole idea is, again, because the reason I'm bringing this up, and we did get to Jack the Ripper, and this is factual, by the way, Queen Victoria was very upset because her nephew, Albert, I think it was her nephew, was having, he liked to go to, first of all, he got venereal disease, he got syphilis, and he did die, and he was institutionalized and all of that, and he died of syphilis. He was mad, supposedly, that he bore a royal child. And in the movie From Hell, they actually depict this and what really might have happened. That's not true necessarily, that the woman was put into a mental institution, that she was given a lobotomy, and just like so that she would not know what's going on. That was in the movies. But there is a very good possibility that it is true that these women were killed because of
being pregnant with the bloodline.
Yeah, exactly. You don't understand. They will kill you if you're not supposed to be.
That's what happened to Princess Diana. Princess Diana,
she married into the bloodline. See, that's how it happens. You marry into the bloodline. It's not like there's one bloodline. Just for folks that maybe are not really following this, it is obviously a commingling of many, many, many families over many, many generations. So, it's on record. It was even said in passing, and people laugh. Oh, how funny it is. They even reported on the news. Oh, that Dick Cheney and Obama are 16th cousins. Oh, how funny is that? Because they are part of this same collectivist, and for lack of a better word.
Think about, again, I was
collective.
Doing some reading with the books I got from Christmas, and someone like a Genghis Khan. That guy fathered so many. He just went and had sex with every woman, basically. And Prince Charles, again, and these people are traced to Genghis Khan's bloodline too. Like, think about, the rulers are the people that go and conquer and spread their bloodline. Or Alexander would go, even though he was gay, would just marry and make it, part of a bloodline, things like that. So it's always the rich and the powerful ones that go and spread their bloodline. I always think about here in America and growing up in the Bronx and being around a lot of African Americans and their names. You see the Jones, the Smith, and all these things, and I'd sit there and I'd be like, they didn't come out of Africa with those names.